On a calm Sunday morning in Conyers, Georgia, the air was filled with the usual sounds of suburban life: birds chirping, lawnmowers humming, families enjoying brunch. But all of that came to a halt as dark, ominous smoke started billowing from the BioLab facility, a local chemical plant known as much for its unusual safety practices as for its pool products. Hey there, welcome to Funny Affairs Now, where we take the world's most jaw-dropping headlines and flip them into laugh-out-loud stories. I'm your host, Aaliyah, your guide through the latest news chaos with a twist of comedy. Whether it's politicians in a pickle, courtroom capers, or squatters hosting house parties, we're here to make sense of it all. Get ready to dive into today's funniest affairs and stick around because more madness will always come. Hit that subscribe button, and let's get started. The BioLab facility, notorious for its safety violations, had amassed a record that read more like a horror story than a safety report. Despite assurances of rigorous improvements, it seemed BioLab's fire alarms were more for show than function. As residents scrambled to seek shelter and cover their mouths with whatever was available, scarves, old COVID masks, and even pool towels, local leaders raced to manage the fallout. In the city offices, officials fielded calls and questions, struggling to reassure a community fed up with the constant chemical crises. The chaos hit its peak as a Rockdale County commissioner was faced with a crowd of anxious reporters and concerned citizens. She took the podium with all the confidence of someone who just found out the emergency plan was locked away in a dusty cabinet somewhere. We absolutely have plans in place. It's just that the committee responsible was disbanded in 2019, she explained, her voice wavering as she offered a feeble smile. But rest assured, we did have plans at one point. Her attempt to reassure the community, who were still trying to process the sight of BioLab's smoke plume, did little to calm the fears rippling through the crowd. Meanwhile, a BioLab's spokesperson stood nearby, delivering his own brand of corporate reassurance. "Our safety record speaks for itself," he proclaimed. "Granted, it has a bit of a lisp and maybe a slight stutter, but we're always dedicated to improvement." His words hung in the air like the smoke still lingering over the town. While the official message was meant to sound reassuring, the crowd's reaction was anything but. As residents processed the morning's surreal events, the internet kicked into high gear. Social media was flooded with conspiracy theories, memes, and commentary that captured the town's frustration and disbelief. BioLab the movie, one post read, complete with an edited movie poster showing actors in hazmat suits running from the plant. Another resident posted a mock tagline for BioLab, now offering a sight of smoke with every pool shock. The humor masked a growing undercurrent of frustration as Rockdale County began hinting at the prospect of a federal lawsuit. U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock, recognizing the severity of the situation, called for an emergency meeting with BioLab officials. Even the governor weighed in, though from a safe distance, offering a hands-off response. "Look, the EPD got this under control. No need for me to step in." As word of the governor's detached stance spread, Twitter exploded with memes of him sipping coffee under a "everything is fine" sign. Locals were left wondering whether the state's leadership was taking the crisis seriously or simply hoping the smoke would blow over. BioLab, feeling the public pressure, scrambled to salvage its reputation. In a peculiar attempt to win over the community, the company proposed a rooftop safety garden. This garden, they assured, would offer BioLab employees and perhaps the public a place to de-stress during future incidents. The company's representatives touted it as an eco-friendly space with fire-resistant plants meant to bring calm should another fire break out. The state senator, unimpressed, doubled down on his demand for real answers, questioning BioLab's periodic safety training and vague assurances of testing. Meanwhile, the Environmental Protection Division, EPD, revealed it had inspected the BioLab plant mere days before the fire, noting areas for improvement. As the smoke began to lift, BioLab issued a final promise to the community. comprehensive training on what to do when the roof catches fire. Skeptical residents, well acquainted with BioLab's commitments, were far from convinced. A rooftop garden isn't going to fix this, said a local resident, his tone laced with frustration. You don't need new begonias, you need a new location, maybe out of state. With lawsuits, emergency response plans, and social media outcry at an all-time high, Conyers residents braced themselves for what felt like the next chapter in an ongoing saga. With talk of a rooftop garden and BioLab's latest promise of improved safety measures, the town was left wondering, will BioLab finally clean up its act? Or are we just one sprinkler mishap away from another cloud of doom?